Welcome to my 15th annual State of the City address, coming to you live from the Bernard Thiessen Hall at the Meridian Exhibition Center in Winkler. I was so looking forward to you being here with me, but this will have to wait for another day. I feel a bit like a 15-year-old anticipating getting his learner's license. Perhaps next year I will get my full-fledged mayor's license. As I reflect back on the last 15 years, I'm truly honored that you have given me the privilege of being a part of this growing city of Winkler. Looking into the rearview mirror, it gives you a pretty narrow view of life. However, as you look ahead, there's a huge windshield giving you a much better view. Looking today, as I look at the opportunities, I want to glimpse at the past. However, the most important thing is that we don't lose sight of the future. Together we've faced insurmountable odds in 2020, yet I believe we've survived fairly well. I want to thank my wife Valerie and my family for standing with me and supporting me in this difficult yet very rewarding year of 2020. I want to take this opportunity to let you know that we as council have stood with our medical community, promoting safety and caution in how we deal with the COVID-19 crisis. We have always stood by our small independent business community as they have felt the brutal blows of closures and having to eliminate great staff, not knowing for sure if they would be able to attract them back once the doors were able to be opened. I have personally promoted a safe and fair opening of Manitoba businesses and churches. I've had my voice heard on media like CBC, Global News, CTV, as well as local radio and newspapers. This past week, Winkler received a national recognition from Stats Canada and the Globe and Mail, as well as on CBC, as being the community that has received the lowest CERB payments per capita in all of Canada. That's right, from a high in some communities of 69.4% of the population of receiving CERB payments, while the residents of Winkler received a measly 3.83% of the population receiving CERB payments. You know, it makes me proud, and I want you to be proud of being the last on this list, because it means that we truly are a community wanting to work and not depend on others to carry us. It means our businesses have done an awesome job of providing jobs in a year when all seemed but lost. Our business community did not sit back in fear of the future. They stepped up to the plate and pivot their operations, and they expanded their operations. We have a new business in our incubator mall that has developed a UVC medically suited disinfectant chamber that I will believe will put Winkler on the map again. These entrepreneurs, Justin Zacharias and Carl Entz, have pushed ahead, partnering their research with the likes of Health Science Center, Shared Health, Salem Home, and now waiting for national approval. This is just what we do. We are so proud of our business community and so proud of our city. Last November, as council, we decided unanimously to pass a resolution indicated to the province that we would regulate the new directives from the COVID restrictions placed on us by the province. However, we would not be willing to take the fine money they offered to all municipalities. We would simply not take money from our businesses or residents and fight against them in courts, wasting even more taxpayers' money. I believe that we are the only municipality in all of Manitoba to take this stand. We have not regretted that decision even for a minute. The message has been consistent and determined to be safe, be fair, and no discrimination based on essentials or non-essentials, small business or big box stores or churches. We need to stand together and make a difference, and that is why we are here today, because we are a community that works together. The adversity we have faced has forced the society in general to change. You, as our business community in Winkler, have adjusted to those changes and taken these challenges as an opportunity to adjust, to look for opportunities, and to forge a new and better path. I always say adversity breeds opportunity. And for many of you, this has happened in 2020. Because of opportunities, you showed compassion, creating a fund to help the small, struggling businesses finding themselves in challenging times through no fault of their own. Today, you have donated over $75,000, matched by $50,000 from the city and another $25,000 from the chamber, to buy gift certificates from 24 businesses in the city of Winkler to help them drive traffic into their stores as they open. You know, we're not looking for handouts. We're looking to give a hand up, and that's what we do in Winkler. Thank you to the chamber and the city staff for managing this program. Thank you to the businesses that have helped make this happen. Winkler as a city has in fact not been significantly affected by COVID-19. We have reached over $40 million in new building permits. We have seen manufacturing expansions, and 2 new residential subdivisions have started for the future growth of the city. We have had the biggest year ever in project completion, from the new golf course clubhouse restaurant to the new Meridian Exhibition Center where I am in here today, to the new accessible playground that I see just outside here, to the biggest victory of all, Highway 32 completion through Winkler. Yes, Winkler. Creating an environment where people want to invest, and followed by the most generous community that cares for each other. Together, great things are accomplished, and we have demonstrated that we will not be trampled down, but we will rise up and be better and better. As a region, we have been working together with our neighbors, enabling us to complete a friendly annexation of the property where our new wastewater plant will be built next to our lagoon, and hopefully that will be soon approved. This is a joint $49 million investment between Winkler, Stanley, the province, and federal support. Our portion amounts to about 27% of that total investment. We are preparing for growth and to accommodate every opportunity other than a wet industry because, as you know, we simply don't have enough water resources. Today we have reached the 5-year escalating contribution for recreation from the RMS Stanley. It will help fund the facilities that we have in Winkler. Thank you to the RM for being that partner, and thank you to the council for making that happen. Our city's secondary plan makes it easier for developers to determine growth, investment areas, and ongoing zoning designations to open the door for the future in Winkler. Together, we create freedom to dream, a freedom to build, and a freedom to live. Yes, Winkler. Part of the dreaming and planning of the future involves the Meridian Exhibition Center. I am here today to announce that with the challenging times, we have completed this project, and of course with a few hiccups. Firstly, we wanted to ensure that every energy, efficiency, accessible opportunity would be incorporated into the beautiful design of this building. And you can see that in the background. That created some change orders and unexpected expenses. We ended up with building a $22 million facility rather than a $20 million that was originally expected. They tell me 10% overruns apparently are not unexpected. However, when you're working with other people's money, it's still significant. Nonetheless, it created hardship since we have no outside government support for this project. We were able to cover the difference with the money we had in reserves and the money we placed into reserves this last year. We designated a portion of the surplus from 2020 towards the completion, and so we did not need to borrow any more money. We started with a $17 million loan from the province in 2019 and have subsequently already made 2 payments before we even opened up. This is a 20-year amortized loan. Since our budget included a full year of recreational operational expenses, we did not experience all those requirements, creating a surplus in that area rather than a deficit. The province did send us an additional $750,000 due to COVID challenges, and we have invested that into our Meridian Exhibition Centre. Before we passed the 2020 budget, we made a huge $500,000 budget adjustment and kept the spending tight for the year, which was wise, and it gave us some wiggle room this year. Thanks to our city department heads for supporting the council on this and helping us to end with another year with a surplus in 2020. I've always said it's better to work with cash in the bank rather than reverting to put it on a credit card. Perhaps other levels of government should take some notes. On that note, let me show you some preliminary numbers based on the most recent information. We have a 10-year financial history record. 2011, we started with a budget of around $12 million. Today, that number is close to $18 million. 2011, we started with debt of just over $5 million. After we finish the new wastewater treatment plant, it will be actually upwards of $26 million. We started with reserves of $5 million, and that climbed up to almost $15 million, and now we'll be back in 2021 to approximately $12 million. So we continue to work, we continue to invest, we continue to prepare for the future of the growth of Winkler, Manitoba. In 2020, our spending distribution of a roughly $18 million, 14% will be transferred to reserve, 12% goes to fiscal services, 19% goes to the police, 13% goes to roads and transportation, and 14% goes to recreation. The rest is spread out throughout the rest of the budget. And from 2020, we also have had some great news. We trimmed our budget back by $500,000. We tightened our belts, anticipating the unknown impact of COVID-19. And we actually ended up with savings that we didn't expect. The savings were in the recreation center, the arena, the limited pool use, and of course the Manitoba government COVID payment, creating a surplus to our budget of $1.473 million. Without the COVID dollars, we achieved $531,000 in surplus. This again going into reserves for big projects. 2021 budget impact. Speaking of big projects, 2021 will see the completion of the walking path along Highway 32. It will also see an entire makeover of 15th Street, including Winkler's first roundabout completion. We will continue to extend Roblin Boulevard into the Clover Creek Industrial Park, and it will be completed to the east side of the Winkler boundary. We anticipate the approval of our new wastewater treatment facility in 2021. These are huge expenses. Since we had a zero tax increase in 2020, and in order to accomplish those huge projects building for the future, we plan to introduce a tax rate increase of 4.86% for the 2021 budget. And if you want to know how that reflects on a house value of $230,000, it amounts to a total of $60 or $5 a month. And as your values of your properties goes up from there, you can do the calculation. Let me end this recap and remembering adversity brings opportunity. I want to share a little personal story with you. As many of you know, I owned Delmar Commodities for almost 16 years. During that time frame, about the middle of that, in 2002, I had the railway come along and yank the railway from my services. I owned elevators at Jordan, Somerset, and Mariepolis, and I thought it was devastating. There was no hope. But yet, I want to tell you that 2002 became the turnaround for Delmar Commodities. I realized where my marketplace was. I realized where my emphasis need to be. And trucking was the way to go. And I built a brand new soybean crushing plant at Jordan Corner, which was the first of its kind in Manitoba. And now, almost 20 years later, it is still the only commercial soybean crushing plant in all of Manitoba. Adversity brings opportunity. I know many of you have a story of your own that I've read in the papers that you have gone through. So in Winkler, our goal is to create an environment where we have the freedom to dream, the freedom to build, and the freedom to live. This is the most important aspect of creating a positive future for our businesses, our families, our place to live, and our city. When you look at 2021, may you be rewarded with your confidence and your investment into the city of Winkler. Thank you for your time. All the best in 2021.